Hello, today I want to show you how I use the Kling video generator from Make.com to create videos. I already experimented with this a while ago using another provider that had an interface to Kling, but for some time now Kling has had its own API which has been made public, and that's what I want to try out. To access it, I go to klingai.com, their website. Then I see a button at the top called API calls. When I click on it, I can first buy a package here. With the other provider, I also paid 10 euros a month. So this $8.39 package is totally fine for me. And when I go to the console here, I can then manage my keys. And to create these keys, I go to key management. I'm not going to show that now, otherwise I'll have to change them afterwards. But it's really simple. There's a button called create a new key, and then two keys are generated, the access key ID and the access key secret. And you need these two keys in order to use the API to authenticate yourself. And you can find out how the API works here on the right under documents. And in this document that opens as an overview, I can access the API documentation. And this API documentation explains exactly how it works. I want to use text to video, which means I enter the prompt and want to get a video as the result. Here we have the domain that we need for the API call. So that's API Kling, AI.com. And the first thing we see and learn here is that authentication doesn't work as it often does, simply with the key and an authorization header, but instead we need a JWT token, that is a JSON Web Token. This is basically also a kind of key that I can generate, and with it I can achieve things like a sort of signature, cryptography, validity period, and so on. Yes, I can either program this myself as described here, or there is on Make.com a component called Zero Code Kit. I've opened it here briefly as well, and it's spelled zero with a 00 code kit.com. And when I sign up there, I get some free credits at first, and they have a module that allows me to generate such a JWT token. What I need for that, I can still find here in the code. On the one hand, I need to know that this HS256 is the standard with Zero Code Kit. That means I don't need to enter an extra header there. And what I definitely need is this payload here, where I essentially have my access key and then two time values. That is two time variables, EXP and NWF. One is when the token becomes invalid, and the other is since when it is valid. And these two times, as you can see here, are the current time and 1800 seconds. That's also stated here in the text, and -5 seconds. And I've now set up EXP and NWF in a scenario here. Simply using these variables to document it better. That means we have EXP as the timestamp plus 1800, so the current time plus these 1800 seconds, and NWF as the timestamp -5. And down here, I've already written in the video prompt. And if you know my videos, then you know that I always mostly work with this Darth Vader in a pink dress, because on the one hand, I have a well-known character who's wearing something unusual, doing a specific activity, namely riding an e-scooter in a specific place, Times Square, New York. And then I also specified wide angle shot and so on here. We need this information now in order to proceed, although of course I only need the video prompt when I actually generate the video. And yes, and here is the module from Zero Code Kit, this encode JWT token. And here I actually don't have to do much at all. I have to enter my access key secret here in the secret field, and in this payload in this JSON document, these two parameters, XP, NBF, and here this access code secret with ISS as the value. Yes, and once I've done that, I can execute it, and then a token is generated as the output. And I then use this token for the make requests action that I'm going to do next. And to use this API again, I now need the URL API Kling, AI.com here. We've already seen that. And the second part here, text to video, we can find on the left in the menu, video generation text to video. That's how it is. And then we see the URL here. It's a post request. And now basically we only have one parameter here that is required. That's exactly this one here called prompt, and everything else here, camera control, horizontal, vertical, tilt, pan, roll, zoom, and so on. Of course, you can experiment with a whole lot of things there, but we'll just leave it at that for now. We'll just use the URL for now, and that's why in the explanation here we have two, right? I forgot to mention something. In the header, we need the authorization. And here, basically, the token that we obtained via the JWT authorization bearer space token, exactly. And then down here, the prompt. And we've just defined the prompt right here. So, and when I run this now, we encounter a very specific problem here, which often occurs with these kinds of generators. And that's why this version of the scenario isn't really the one I like. And it's also not the one I would normally use because I've now added a sleep module here. But I don't know when the video is actually finished generating. And even though I've actually entered 5 minutes here, so 300 seconds, it could happen that if the video takes 6 minutes to generate, then nothing happens at the end here, or maybe even an error occurs. But so be it. Let's just go ahead and continue. So let's say I've submitted it now, then I'll wait 5 minutes and the video is finished. Then I use the check video function, and now I move one step further. Specifically, I have here the same URL, and now I have to append a request ID that this module has returned to me. So let's take another look at that here. That means there's a response here. And in this response, there's this request ID, and this request ID is basically the job ID under which I can later find my video. Well, and then we need the query task function, and it works in such a way that this ID is appended here. And this call then gives me, again, a response. And in this response, I can see what state the video generation is in. So submitted means it has been sent, processing means it is currently being created, and succeeded means it is finished, and failed, well, as the name suggests, means it failed. That just means something went wrong. And what I actually want to wait for is succeeded. Because if I query it here and it returns processing and my scenario just keeps running, then it's pretty pointless. That means I could at most add more sleep time here, or handle it via an arrow route, for example. But so be it. So here as well, let's imagine we've called check video, and then we get the result back, and the result is a URL. As usual, I can download the URL using get a file from an HTTP module, and then I have it saved to my Google Drive. The correct variant, from my point of view, which I have illustrated in 2 other scenarios, is the first one is completely identical, right? That means I've set my parameters here. I call the token generation here and use another parameter in the function call, namely the callback URL. We can also find this in the documentation. It's right down here, the callback URL, which says, this is the address that will be notified when the status of the task has changed. And when I have specified this URL, then the server automatically sends a message, and I can actually receive it via a make webhook. And that's why I basically specified this callback URL here and entered a make webhook here. And I created this webhook as the first module in the second scenario. And that's exactly the address of this webhook. But now I still need a specific piece of information, namely, I need my token. I also have to do my authentication again in this scenario. And that's why I have to include this token via this callback URL. That means, as we can see here, this is the URL, and then I have a question mark after it, and then I said, okay, I'll use the parameter token, and now attach the token that is this JWT token via this callback URL. And so what happens then? Well, at the moment when the status changes during the generation, this webhook is triggered. And now, just for documentation purposes, I've also added a few routes here. Specifically, the actual route I want is this one here. So that means the webhook is triggered, the video is generated, then the video is fetched, and then it's downloaded to my drive. These other two routes, I normally don't need them here, except for the failed one. Well, you could certainly take them into account. The way it works is that when this webhook is triggered, I get this task status here. And if it says succeeded, well, that means the video has been successfully generated. And now I can download the video from a URL, which I can find listed below here. And if I get this call and the video is still being processed, well, then I actually don't want to do anything. I just want to wait. And that's the cool thing about a webhook like this. If I let it run continuously here, it will essentially just keep getting triggered. That means I only actually enter this particular route when the task status is specifically set to succeeded. Since I'm doing this process manually here, I've just used these routes for now, mainly to show you exactly what happens when I actually run it manually and observe the results step by step. Yeah, and the first thing I do now is start this scenario. That means the webhook is now listening for information from the server, and now I can go in here and start this scenario. This goes pretty quickly, right? Because it's just generating this token, generating the video. And if I go over here now, the scenario has already finished running, and why is that? Well, because the status has now changed to submitted. And if I start it again now, it will immediately have data again. So use existing data because it went from submitted to processing. That means at the moment the video is being created. And if I start it again now, the next status will be either generated, meaning succeeded, or fail if something went wrong. Yes, and that will now take about 4 to 6 minutes. And as soon as it's finished, I'll get back to you. The call just came in. That means we can see here that the webhook came in, the video was generated, and the callback was in fact triggered. And now in the results of the check, we have a succeeded, and we can now download the video here via download video. As soon as we've downloaded it, we'll upload it to Drive. So the video is now uploaded, and that was successful as well. Let's take a look at it. Let's go to our drive. It's called File MP4. And if I click on it now, it should be downloaded here. Yes, there he is, Darth Vader, riding his e-scooter around Times Square. So it's not exactly crowded. Whether it's actually Times Square is also hard to tell, but well, it doesn't really matter. We've now simply generated a video just from a text prompt, and we've automated the whole process so that in theory we don't have to do anything, because with these two scenarios there's no risk of any problem arising due to delays in generation. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you found it useful, and of course I'd really appreciate a like and a subscription. And if you have any further questions, feel free to check out our website at Picker GmbH, and maybe we can support you with your scenarios or challenges related to process automation. See you next time. Bye.